Hey, welcome to Funny Synth Noises, the channel where I talk about things that interest me and you tolerate it for however long you can. So, this September, I saw Peter Gabriel live for his I.O. tour in support of, obviously, I.O. And wow, that was an experience. That was life-changing. I am going through a bout of post-concert depression. That's why I'm making this video, to kind of process it and to share the road to joy that I went on. I've only ever been to 2 concerts for established artists. The illegal punk concert I went to my second week of college doesn't really count. So it was not a new experience per se, but it's one that I don't often have. It's really important to me that I got to see Peter live, because the man's 73. As Depeche Mode once said, time is fleeting. And man, time is fleeting, and I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to see Peter Gabriel live again. Especially since he's a British artist. Why would he come to the US, Doesn't tour that much. This is his first new album in 20 years. So it's just cool that I got to experience something that people have experienced for decades, really. The man's been around forever. But, I'm a whole new generation getting to experience this. My feelings on I.O., the album itself, are mixed. The album isn't out in full. All we have are the songs, I guess you could say they're released as singles, with the 2 different mixes. I personally have only listened to the first mix that drops, but yeah, the album isn't technically out yet. But the album itself, or what we have so far, I have, mixed feelings about it. Obviously Peter's voice sounds a lot more aged, more aged even from Up, which was 20 years ago. And it makes sense, because he's 73, he's an old man. I say that with love and respect. I think it's also kind of the concept that's, iffy. The whole, AI thing. Yeah, AI can be used for good things. Healthcare and stuff, whatever that means. Connecting people across the world. But AI art, that's a topic in its own right. Way beyond what I know. But to me, it's kind of, ironic that Peter Gabriel, an artist, who's been an artist for 50 years, uses AI art so frequently in I.O. and, all the music videos, which I haven't watched, by the way, because of the AI. They're all AI, and it's you can't just ditch real people for AI art. You can't say that's art. Even if a real person's kind of controlling the prompts and what the creation looks like, it's still not the same as hiring an actual animator who's going to put their blood, sweat, and tears into a work of art that's its own unique thing and not deriving itself from other sources. So I think the AI aspect has kind of made me unsure of the album, but I think it's of some reassurance that the music itself isn't, as far as I'm aware. I don't know if Peter just doesn't want to cross that line, but I think it's a good thing he has it. But anyways, all that aside, the concert itself. Oh my god, so much better live. The classic songs were enhanced by the different instruments and the aged vocals and the live setting, but also I.O. itself. Those songs were actually really good live. And I don't know if it's just because I was in that state of oh my god, everything is amazing, or if it genuinely was. But I really think it's the latter, because it's a completely different experience. And you get to see the passion that Peter has for his new album, and the musicians have for the new album. So it was really nice to have the songs that I have mixed feelings about kind of take a new form. And even the ones that I do like from I.O., like Road to Joy and Olive Tree and Panopticon, those were really good. Just really good, So we started off with Peter just kind of walking on the stage, and he was talking to us. And I didn't realize it was him at first, because I was sitting in the balcony, kind of far away from everything, and they hadn't turned on the side screens yet. So I was like, is that actually Peter? It was, in fact, Peter. And he sits down, and he's got this little fake campfire thing. And he's talking, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna bring out the old gods. And Tony Levin walks on stage, and everyone just goes bonkers for Tony Levin. And this won't be the first time they go bonkers for Tony Levin. Even the other musicians who he's been working with for years didn't get as thunderous of a roar of applause as Tony Levin. Which, I guess good for him, but come on guys. Come on. They did what Setlist FM or whatever calls an acoustic seated of Washing of the Water, which, yes, they were seated, but Wash Up the Water is also just a quiet song on its own. I don't really know how acoustic that was, but it was a good opener. I cried a little bit, as one does. And they did Growing Up, which is actually one of my favorites from Up, and the album itself has grown on me a lot, so I think it was really nice that they played that, and I really enjoyed it. It was amazing. Oh my god. The trumpet. It was beautiful. I don't know if it was just because I was sitting so far back from everything, but it was definitely more amplified, the trumpet versus everything else. Which is great. Love a good trumpet and sax. Anyways, they got up from their little campfire cozy sitting, and they took their places on stage with their instruments, and they did a few songs from IO. They did Panopticon, which the people behind me were a little confused by and probably not as appreciative of it. But you know what? I'm young. I'll give them a chance. The live performance of Digging in the Dirt, I think, has changed my life. I like the song. It's not my favorite off Us, but oh my goodness, the live performance, that blaring trumpet, and just like the amplified instrumental. It was the only video I took of the concert. It was like the second chorus, and I was like, I need to save this for myself. This is amazing. It's a powerful song on its own, but to have it live with the heavy brass and the, quite frankly, really impressive vocals by the practically ancient Peter, and just the whole vibe. It was really good. It was amazing. And we got some more IO songs. That was fine. Like I said, I really like Olive Tree. When I first listened to it at home on like Spotify or whatever, it was like, this isn't great. And then the chorus hit, and it's a trumpet, and I was like, yep, I love a good trumpet. And then, you know what they had to do? Sledgehammer. We all went bonkers, obviously. I was kind of surprised that they played Sledgehammer so early, but I guess it makes sense because it's not the focus. The focus is on IO, but obviously they have to play Sledgehammer. So we were jammed to that, and then we had a little brief interval. It was like, I don't know, 10 minutes. And we opened up with Darkness from Up, which is, as someone I saw called it, the very Trent Reznor song, which, that checks out from the one Nine Inch Nails song I know. I actually didn't get jump scared by it for some reason, like I usually do when I listen on my phone. The whole, like, screaming sound effect. But it was cool. I loved Peter's bowler hat fedora thing. I couldn't tell exactly what it was because I was on the balcony. But yeah, no, it was pretty impressive. They did a couple more IO songs. Road to Joy, that slapped. Peter Gabriel flipped us all off. That's a flex I can brag. And they did Don't Give Up. And I am not a big fan of Don't Give Up. I don't hate it, but it's just not my favorite, especially from So as an album. It's one of the lower songs. And people were like, oh, it's time for a bathroom break. People were getting up. People were complaining. But it's not that bad of a song, guys. Come on. While Kate Bush didn't magically appear on stage like I and probably everyone hoped she would, we got, I hope I'm pronouncing her name right, Ayanna Witter-Johnson doing the backup vocals, the female role, so to speak. And wow, she was really good. Like, as soon as she opened her mouth to sing her first line, everyone lost it, because, like, it was so good. It's very different than Kate Bush, obviously, but it was still amazing. And I was glad I didn't go to the bathroom during that, Like, obviously I would never get up to use the bathroom during a show. But, like, if you guys left, you missed out. Don't Give Up is a good song. It's not my favorite, but I appreciate it, especially seeing it live with amazing vocals. Another IO song, that was The Court, and Red Rain. And, like, I looked at the set list before the show, just so I knew roughly how long it was, and so I knew what to expect, and I was very happy to see Red Rain on the list. I was very happy when they performed it. It was loud and powerful and everything I love about Red Rain. They played And Still, which it hasn't been released, I don't think, or if it has, it's very unmemorable and I don't remember it. And then they did Big Time. We all went bonkers for that, obviously. I love Big Time. I think it was my favorite Peter Gabriel song at one point before Make Tomorrow came over, and 10 minutes of the Peter Gabriel, Paul Buchanan, Liz Fraser, Richie Havens, oh my god. I was really upset that they didn't play Make Tomorrow, but they've also never played Make Tomorrow, I don't think. And it's 10 minutes long. I got a little off track. Anyways, they played another IO song that I haven't heard yet, Live and Let Live, which I had completely forgotten was a thing. Like, I knew the names of This Is Home and Still, but I was like, what is this song? I had no idea what it was. All I knew was that, hey, the background colors are rainbow. I don't think the 50-year-old people in the audience are going to like this, because we live in society. And Peter started talking, and he's like, yeah, Hill in my childhood, and we all went bonkers once again. Because who doesn't go bonkers to Salisbury Hill? Doing the boom, boom, boom thing with my fist with everyone else was unmatched. I liked the song a lot, but I love it even more. It was also better live because more music, more loud, more everything. And it was over. But of course it wasn't, because I forgot that there were 2 songs for the encore. I always forget In Your Eyes Exist, which is like a horrible thing because it's arguably one of his most popular songs. But in my defense, I've never seen Say Anything. And I also just don't listen to In Your Eyes often. But I'm very glad the person like 2 seats away from me was jamming out. She was singing. She was having a great time, and that made me happy. And seeing it live also made me happy. Made me appreciate it more and realize more of the meaning. And it was just a good time. And the last encore was Biko. And what I really liked about Biko was how everyone just left the stage except for the drummer. I'm so sorry I can't remember your name. But everyone except for the drummer left. The crowd was doing the vocalizations while the drums were going, and then the drums stopped, and it was over. And it was over. Yeah. The stage setup itself was very centralized. The musicians didn't move around very much. Peter walked around, but he didn't do any like stupid, Andy McCluskey dances. I had OMD on the brain, that was the only other concert I've been to. But it was kind of hard to see from where I was. Like you see the pictures. They're not very good. But I could see a lot better in person, and they also had the screens set up that were zoomed in on individual players and singers and stuff. Lights matched the vibes of the songs. Like during Red Rain, it was almost entirely in red light. The flashings from like the Salisbury Hill chant, and they also had the projectors in the back. Actually not as much AI as I thought there was going to be. Like there was definitely some, but it seemed mostly to be like actual animation or creations. So that was cool. That was quite relieving. I really liked seeing the IO songs performed with visuals because I think that really added to the impact of the songs. Like I said, I didn't watch the music videos because of the AI art discussion and a half. But seeing it live, like obviously I can't just look away because that would be horrible. So having that combination of the visuals with the colors and the animation and I guess emulating the single covers but not entirely just displaying the covers was nice. And overall I think they did a really good job creating the atmosphere of IO. People can have the opinions they want about an old artist creating a new album, especially 20 years after the last album and 50 years into the career. Like obviously the purists are going to be pissed. But really, IO isn't that bad. Sure, I'm going to say that I like So and Us and Peter Gabriel 1, 2, 3, and 4 a lot better. But it's actually still pretty good, and it's not even technically out. I think seeing it live has made me excited, way more excited for IO than I was originally, and in a way appreciate the new art from an old artist and his old artist along with new contemporary art. And obviously live music itself is its own experience, especially as someone who almost exclusively listens to music by older artists, some of whom are dead, some of whom dissolved their act long ago, some of whom just straight up don't come to the US because British people, superiority apparently. It's important for me to see my favorite artists live. It makes the music more memorable, it makes it more human, adds a new layer, especially in the case with like Peter Gabriel. The songs did not sound like the album versions. He wasn't just copying it. He was creating something new, and I think that really enhanced it. It really showed off his skill as an artist and his fellow artists' skill as artists, creating something recognizable, but something entirely different. I'm really thankful that I got to go to the I.O. tour. Obviously, I wish it was, in its prime and it wasn't I.O., but still, in a way, it was like, hey, new album, old artist, something different, something kind of okay, actually. So my final takeaway is this. The I.O. tour was absolutely worth it. For the new stuff, for the purpose of the tour, to see how Peter and company would create the I.O. songs live, and how they would differ from the album versions, obviously, but how they would still remain the same and how it would translate over. And for the classics, a new take on them while still being the familiar songs we know and love. It's a community, really. Being with other people who share the same music taste as me. How they cheered for their favorite songs. How they sang along. How they were there with me. I know I will treasure this moment forever. Live music is just so impactful. It's so different. It's so wonderful. I won't leave this video without some music, so for the outro, you get to hear the little 10-second clip of the Digging in Dirt video I took, with the terrible audio quality. But if you want to see Digging in the Dirt way better than the album version, go see Peter Gabriel for yourself. I'll catch you later. Like and subscribe. I need to come up with a better outro. Okay, goodbye.